What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of CFP Talks. My name is Joe Nissim, and today I want to talk to you about something that I've been seeing all week. This week, I've had the opportunity to meet with somewhere around 10 candidates who took the CFP exam and didn't make it over the finish line. And there seems to be this thing that everybody's doing, everybody's complaining about, everybody's telling me about. Joe, I did this, I did this, I did this, and I can't believe that it didn't help me actually pass the exam. Now, if you're the person that took the November exam and you were running through all of your materials, whether you use Dalton or Denko or Biff or Zahn, and you're looking at all the feedback and you're looking at your proficiencies and you're seeing that proficiencies maybe in the 60s or 70s, and then you go and take a mock exam and you do okay. Maybe I got in the 60s. It wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. So instead of taking another mock exam or going through that hell again, what I instead will do is go and take the CFP mock, because what's a better indication of the exam than what actually comes from the CFP? And so if you went and took that CFP mock and absolutely killed it, I mean, absolutely murdered it. I mean, 70s, 80s, 90s across the board. And you're sitting there going, well, maybe the exam isn't going to be as hard as I thought it was going to be. Maybe I'm actually more prepared than what my provider is showing me. Maybe my provider is actually showing me something that's harder than the exam. I can really depend on this CFP mock. And then you went in, and what you saw on the mock felt like it was an absolute joke. It wasn't even close to the exam. The difficulty wasn't close to the exam. The wording wasn't as hard as the exam. You rocked through that. You did it in record time. You scored really well. And then you got to the actual exam and you felt like you got slapped in the face. Welcome to using the CFP mock as an indicator for the exam. Now, sucks to hear it now, but the CFP free mock is not a good indication of the exam itself. It is a wonderful way to use it to kind of get through 170 questions, to have a feel for the length of the exam. But we know from a difficulty standpoint that it is not even remotely close to the difficulty of the exam. And more importantly, if you were doing really, really well, and then you got to the exam and you feel like you got blindsided by the exam, what that's pointing out is that maybe there is something wrong in your study plan that didn't allow you to succeed. And so when I've been meeting with people this week, people are coming in and saying, Joe, I did 2,000 questions. I did 3,000 questions. When we start adding it up, I did, all of my quizzes and tests that are inside of the question bank. And the question bank was 2,300 questions. And then I did a 170 question mock. And then I did another 170 mock. And then I did the CFP, which is another 170. So now, and then obviously after the videos, there was questions. And you're sitting there and saying to yourself, I did the mock. I killed it. I went into the exam. I had 3,000 questions under my belt. How the hell have I not passed the CFP exam? Then that is indicating something bigger that's going on, which is for a lot of you guys, you got stuck in pattern recognition. You fell in the QBank trap, which is I did a bunch of questions. I got really good at doing questions, but you didn't get good at problem solving. And that's the key to this exam. You can go and you can do as many questions as you want. You can do 5,000 questions as if you want. You can score in the 80s. You can score in the 90s. But if you are not a problem solver, if you can't solve problems on this test, you are not going to pass. And I can't emphasize that enough because I've been seeing it all week. I don't care the number of questions that you did. I care about, can you actually, one, do you have a fundamental concept? Two, can you apply that fundamental concept? And three, can you apply that concept when the wording changes? Because we know that CFP will always change the question. And if you don't understand that fundamental concept, and you don't understand why you're getting something right on the QBank, and more importantly, if every time you're coming to a question, you're using A, B, C, and D as a hint towards the answer, you're not learning. You're just a QBank robot. And that's not going to help you pass the exam. So if you're one of those people that took this exam in November and you did all of that work and it wasn't from a lack of effort, it wasn't from a lack of time, what this is telling you is you cannot be a QBank robot. You can't just go in and do more of the same and use things like the CFA the CFA mock exam to make yourself feel better and then not expect that the same thing is going to happen to you in March or July or whenever you want to retake the exam. So if you are looking to change that and you really want to go after this in March and get it done, you're going to have to change your study habits. You cannot just blindly use 3,000 questions. In fact, stop using the number of questions as a metric of any kind. The number of questions don't matter. How you do the questions matter. If you don't know why you're getting something right or why you're getting something wrong, or even worse, you can't even answer the question. Like if you cover up the answers and you have no clue as to what the answer is, you're not learning. You're just being a QBank robot. Don't be a QBank robot. Don't be that person, because that person, it will take oodles and oodles of effort to go and pass the exam. That really isn't necessary. So if you're looking to study more efficiently and you're looking for a better plan and you're not sure where to start, come and see me. There's a link directly underneath this video. You can set up a 30 to 45 minute with me. We could sit down. We can go through what you have going on. We can figure out what went wrong in November, because do not jump back into this March process without knowing what went wrong in November. You're just going to do more of the same and you have no idea what went wrong. So why repeat the process again that didn't lead you to success? Go into this process eyes wide open. Make sure that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into and what you need to address before you ultimately go and address it. So again, if you want to sit down and you want to chat and you want to see how we can change this studying for you, click on that link right beneath this video. Let's make that next attempt that you take for this exam to be your last attempt, but do not be a QBank robot. And also, don't use that CFP mock as any indication of anything. All right, guys, I'll see you next week.